Don in London, good morning. It's March 31st, 2009, Tuesday morning. A bit late with my video, just gone past 10 o'clock. My video is all about recovery, or being in recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance was alcohol, my behaviour, I guess trying to be whatever you wanted me to be. And that was workaholic, relationshipaholic, gymaholic, healthaholic, you name it, all the isms. So if I wasn't drinking, it was probably coming out in some other way, this addiction behaviour. So where am I today? Well, as you know, I do these videos daily at the moment, and I go to my fellowship, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't speak for all AA, never will, never can. It's just a bunch of people who try to keep sober a day at a time, and we share a preamble at the beginning of each fellowship meeting, and there are about 700 fellowship meetings in London of AA, plus all the NA, OA and all the other A's in the vicinity. If you can be addicted to something, there's probably a fellowship around here which people can go to, and it simply is a fellowship. People, ordinary, not superhuman, not bigger or smaller than each other, in the context of keeping well in recovery. And at the beginning of every meeting there's a preamble said, and it goes like this for AA. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And as I say, that's at the beginning of every meeting. It sort of slows us down into the present moment of now to understand why we meet in the first place, in fellowship, not with hierarchy or anything like that, but just people same level, same size, neither bigger nor smaller, trying to make one day work. And in the traditions, tradition 3 reads, this is March, so it's the third month, third tradition. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. That is the only foot in the door, if you like. And I've been to 2 meetings where people talked about tradition 3, that desire not to drink on a daily basis. That's the only, or rather, it's just a desire not to drink. And I've heard all about how others see and view this, and it's good to hear other people's take on it, their experience, strength and hope of it. And for me it was very simple. I needed a place to go, I guess, to actually find out how to stop drinking, and then have a desire to stop drinking. But when I first went to AA, I had no desire to do anything but die, I suspect. I'd had enough. And now I look back and see that I was caught in the trap of addiction, doing the same thing over and over again, and not able to stop the same result happening, which was Oblivion. And I was very depressed, very suicidal. I think that was my ideation, as they say, or rather I feel I just didn't have the heart to wake up. And that's the awfulness of where addiction takes us. We just can't face what's going on around us, and the only way to deal with life is to shut it out, isolate and find oblivion until we die. And you know, that's a few years ago, and the early days were not easy, because at first I had no desire to stop drinking, let alone anything else, and eventually I just gradually worked my way into the program after many false starts. So I wasn't one of those who came along and thought, oh, I've seen the light and I'm on my way, here we go, recovery. It was more like, oh no, recovery means a lot of hard work, and I'm going to have to start my life over again, all over again. And it was only when I realised that starting over meant that I wasn't going to start with a clean slate, because there was a lot of wreckage around me, losses, sadness, unfulfilled ambition, I guess, and also hurting people who loved me and couldn't stop me, as I couldn't stop either. So what saved me? It was AA, I have to say, and I'm very glad it did. And you know, the books or the literature of AA, this one particularly, Daily Reflections, is one I use here because it covers one step of the 12-step program per month. So January was all about powerless over alcohol and life being unmanageable while drinking, and then February all about being restored to sanity, I came to believe that a higher power could restore us to sanity, simply that we could actually have a day to stop doing the same old behaviour and to start some new behaviour. And this month has been all about, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. And as we understand Him means it's not a common definition as such. It means the God of your understanding and not mine. So we may be polarised in terms of what we understand God to be, or we might be the same. And I like Gandhi's take, and it's not me suggesting it's for you, but it works for me. God is truth, God is love, God works through people, and a higher conscience, if you like, the good conscience that is in all of us, if we are sober and able to see things as they are, and look at the world with openness, honesty, and I suppose openness, honesty, and willing to make each day work. So this book, Daily Reflections, is a touchstone, if you like, on a daily basis, and it's March 31st, so we're heading towards fourth step in April. And I don't play April Fool's jokes with these things, so don't worry. No one denied me love. On the AA calendar, it was year 2. This is another person's story, a lady. A newcomer appeared at one of these groups. Oh, no, it's not. He soon proved he was a desperate case, and that above all he wanted to get well. He said, "Since I am the victim of another addiction even worse, stigmatised in alcoholism, you may not want me among you." And that comes from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. And this is the bit. I came to you, a wife, mother, woman who had walked out on her husband, children and family. I was a drunk, a pillhead and nothing. Yet no one denied me love, caring, a sense of belonging. Today, by God's grace and the love of a good sponsor and a home group, I can say that, through you in Alcoholics Anonymous, I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother and a woman, sober, free of pills, responsible. Without a higher power I found in the fellowship, my life would be meaningless. I am full of gratitude to be a member of good standing in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I guess, with that in the back of my mind, it always says to me, if I can keep sober, keep open, honest and willing, then I can get on with this 12-step program. And as I understand the God of my understanding being truth, love and working through people, it's to the higher conscience or good conscience, or just generally good conscience, which we all know through family, community and society. And if we're careful, we don't go wrong, too wrong anyway, but we all foul up on a daily basis. If we didn't make mistakes, how on earth would we make any progress? So, making progress is learning through mistakes or things not working and then finding things that can work. And the synopsis of this step, again, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. It's the God of your understanding. Step 3 is like opening a locked door. How shall we let God into our lives? Willingness is the key. Dependence as a means to independence. Dangers of self-sufficiency. Turning our will over to a higher power. Misuse of willpower. Sustained and personal exertion necessary to conform to God's will, rather than our own self-will, self-interest and self-absorption. So, for me, what it does is open up the channels through other people to hear the wisdom that is available and to support my experience, strength and hope of each day. And as Bill sees it, as a sort of precursor to step 4, which is where we're going. On page 64, Search for Motives, this book, as Bill sees it. I might just have time to say it. Some of us clung to the claim that when drinking we never hurt anybody but ourselves. Our families didn't suffer because we always paid the bills and seldom drank at home. Our business associates didn't suffer because we were usually on the job. Our reputations didn't suffer because we were certain few knew of our drinking. Those who did would sometimes assure us that, after all, the lively bender was only a good man's fault. What real harm, therefore, had we done? No more surely than we could easily mend with a few casual apologies. This attitude, of course, is the end result of purposeful forgetting. It is an attitude which can be changed only by deep and honest search of our motives and actions. And on a daily basis, with a serenity prayer, I hope I do. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, just for today, with a lot of truth.